Shalom and welcome to Challenging Torah. Our challenge this week is the challenge of the book of Exodus. On one hand, we have the moment at Sinai when the Jews say, Na'aseh v'nishma, we will do and we will obey. And now, 40 days later, we have the incident of the golden calf. A total disregard of their connection to God and God's laws. The tension between these two poles is what makes this Torah portion so powerful. It's as if there's a split screen. On one hand, we have God and Moses above. On the other hand, we have the people and Aaron below. And the action, Moses switches from above to below and back to above. And in that process, we see the Jewish people, God and Moses, go through their own transitions as they find a median point. First, God says, take a census. Let's know who's out there. So they give a half a shekel to be counted. Lift up your head as Tissa. Count them. Then God gives a few more directions and says, very important, Moses, tell them before they get these tablets. Therefore the people of Israel shall keep the Sabbath throughout the generations as an everlasting covenant. And then he gives Moses, whom he finished talking with on Mount Sinai, 2 tablets of testimony, tablets of stone written by the finger of God. But below, they have a great difficulty in waiting for this man Moses. The real difficulty is that they're dealing for the first time with a God who has no form. They can't hold on to anything. They've just been slaves in Egypt. And so, very quickly they run out of patience. Moses is to come back in 40 days. Where do we start the counting? After all, he's in eternal time. He's up with God. How do we come back into our concept of time? How late is late? And when the people saw that Moses delayed to come down from the mount, the people gathered themselves together to Aaron and said to him, arise, make us gods, which will go before us. As this man Moses, who brought us out of the land of Egypt, we do not know what has become of him. How quickly they abandon. In the world of Musar, of our qualities, we say this is about savlanut, about patience. And savlanut is forbearance, the ability to stay in an unknown state. The opposite of savlanut is anxiety. And they're in a great state of anxiety. And so they give the gold to Aaron. He fashions a golden calf. And all the people circle around and dance. Meanwhile, as they have this egel masecha, a mask, frankly, this is the weekend of Purim. And we're all about masks and what is hidden, right? You can't make a mask of God's face, not as a cow, not as a caterpillar, not as a man with a beard, because God's face is infinite and formless. And so Purim, a very high holiday, we take the masks off. Esther, the hidden Nistar, is revealed, but it's never got the name of God, right? We need to figure that out. But here, we're just at the beginning, and we want something to hold on to. God looks down, sees what's happening, and says to Moses, Lech, red, get down there. For your people, who you took out of Egypt, are not doing well. What do you mean, your people? And Moses says, God, why does your anger burn hot against your people whom you have brought out of the land of Egypt? Domestic quarrel 101, right? Whose kids? Your kids? Your kids are also not doing well. But under there's a subtext. God says, Lech red, go down, because he wants Moses to take responsibility. And at the same time, God is angry. And God goes through his own internal transitions. Moses comes down, carrying these tablets, sees the dancing, smashes the tablets. And they say the letters fly up and they become too heavy, and that's why he drops them. Or perhaps Moses is saving them. I mean, it's written, do not have any other gods before me. You delivered the message, they're definitely toast. Moses is very angry with Aaron, does what he needs to do, and finally goes back up onto the mountain to receive another set of tablets, which he does. And God says, okay, you have found favor in my eyes. And Moses says, God, if that's true, please show me your glory. Can I see your face? This has all been about masks and faces and revealing. And Moses takes this moment of a reconciliation with God. And God says, yes, but no man shall see my face and live, and covers him in the cleft of a rock. And instead of seeing, he hears him. And he hears what are really the attributes of God. Adonai, Adonai, el rachum v'chanun, erech hapayim v'rav chesed, ve'emet, notzar chesed lalafim. We say this over and over on the holiday. Nosei avon v'fesha v'chatav v'nakeh. God filled with mercy and loving kindness, forgiving to the thousandth generation. We don't see the face of God. We see God's attributes in the world. That is the ultimate task of Musar, to have us mirror those attributes back to God, because it's all really a loop. Moses comes back down with the second tablets, but his face has been transformed, and light is so radiant from his face that he has to cover himself with a veil. Again, the hidden and the revealed, the hidden and the revealed. It's going to be a long trip through this desert. Shabbat Shalom. And for those who will be celebrating Purim all weekend, Chag Sameach.